if you now want to start to break down the salary structure, so what are the things we need to do in breaking down the salary structure? So we have the salary structure. You understand that somebody's earning an annual salary of 1 million naira. So how do you now start to break that 1 million naira down into the various allowances that come up? So when it comes to the salary structure, the various components is what we call your base salary, basic salary, and cash allowances. So it tends to be broken down into something like this. So you have an annual gross pay that is broken down into basic salary, housing allowance, transport allowance, utility allowance, meal allowance, leave allowance, 13th month. This is just example. So the basic salary is just like your fixed amount of salary that an employee is eligible to in return for the work it does. And most organizations usually have that base. Every other part of the allowances will be a function of the base salary. Then we have the allowances. The allowances are so much. It depends on the organization. Before now, when there used to be a few tax relief, then organization used to have a lot of allowances. But since PICTA 2011 kicked in, there are no really logic to how many allowances you can have. But the most important part about when it comes to allowances is that there should be a number of allowances that fit the organization. Then, because there are administrative burden associated with allowances, when the allowances are too much, the problem is that it gives an administrative burden within the payroll process. So the allowances should be as small as possible, knowing that it does not have any serious maybe tax rebates whatsoever when it comes to tax payment in itself. So it's better it is kept low so that it makes it easy for the organization to be able to administer it. Then when it comes to this breakdown of the salary, I have two scenarios on the screen now. There are no one-size-fits-all to breaking down these allowances. In a few minutes, we're going to be going into Excel and we're going to be able to illustrate this better. So what we're saying in essence is that organization A, which is scenario 1, can choose to have 30% of the annual base salary go into basic, have 15% of the annual into housing, 10% into transport, another percentage into utility, meal, leave allowance, 13th month. Another organization can choose to drop 40% of your annual salary into basic pay, 22% into housing, 15% into transport. Now, the question anybody would ask is, what would inform how we make this creation? Now, the interesting part about it, which we're going to illustrate in Excel in a few minutes, is how does this affect statutory deduction? That's usually what you should ask yourself. In breaking down the salaries into the various components, you should recognize that there are some parts of the statutory deduction that will be affected by the breakdown. E.g., your pension is a function of your basic housing and transport at the minimum, BHT. That's usually the BHT term. So the percentage of the total pay that goes into BHT would affect both your employee pension and your employer contribution to pension. So if the basic housing and transport is small, it means the employee pension is small and the employer pension is small, which means the deduction we'll make from your salary at the end of the month in terms of pension will not be compared to when your BHT is large. So that we will illustrate in a few minutes. But